This weekly Blender competition is brought to you by Grand Abbott. Grand Abbott provides Blender tutorials for beginners and experienced users such as sculpting, modeling, texturing, animating, and a lot more. So make sure you check out his channel and Discord if you haven't already. You can find a link in the description. Welcome at the weekly Blender competition number 11, which I'm going to criticize the art entries and choose a first, second and third place winner, and the subject for this week was to create useless inventions. We have 4 entries and I really appreciate that you guys have joined. I just have to say, the entries can score extra points with me based on the idea towards the subject. I will give some critic on the art, but for me the idea in this case is the most important one. And the first entry is of TCTCQ. He says in Discord, I don't know if you all know this old game. I do know this game. I've played a few different versions of them. It is pretty fun, but can also be pretty frustrating. By the look of this is an old school one. I can imagine if you would move this to another place, you can actually lose your ball, and that's why it's trapped in here. Is that the whole idea? Because I only wish you had like a little bit of a storyline with this into your Discord message to give me a little bit of idea what is the useless invention in here. So I just made up my own story. I do like the color in here. I do like the wood textures in here. The only thing that I like lesser is actually that this outline is it's a little bit too rough. Anything else? Yeah, like I said, it's a little bit difficult for me to mind up what is the point here. I even have been thinking, like, what if you would replace this shiny ball for a cube? Then it's going to be a real frustrating game. But I would say, nice job on making something useless, TCTCQ. The second entry is of Platyrush. Platyrush also made something, actually very nice, I have to say. I really like the look of this. Especially this box is what bothering me. I really like the color of this box, the textures on this. This is apparently a... Now you can finally shoot yourself gummy bear gun. And I actually have to grab Discord with it. He says it looks like a regular gun, but bullets are gummy bears. I'm not 100% sure where I got this idea. I hope that there is not too much dark humor for the server. Well, yeah, what can I say about this? It's it's something that I have never seen before. Am I going to say I really like this idea of shooting yourself with gummy bears? For me, this whole thing actually gives me a feeling like, you have sometimes those projects which is just very crazy, like you got like gloves onto a rotating thing which you can slap your own face with it, and then you got this thing you can shoot yourself with gummy bears, or not always self-torturing stuff, but this belongs like in a crazy store. I can just imagine that this doesn't use gunpowder, but there's like a string in here. You have to pull this back, put a gummy bear in there, and shoot it up your throat, and then die choking. Useless? Well, I would say more that it's a silly idea, like crazy project idea. Something you shouldn't take too serious, or else people can seriously die. Yeah, this is not my kind of fetish, but I like the whole picture here. The only thing that I would say is that the texture of this onto the ground is a little bit too repetitive. It should be more scaled up. And I would say put this show at the front a little bit more towards the back, and then zoom the camera out a little bit. I mean, you can keep it the same. And then it actually wouldn't matter if this wasn't up here. Like, I understand it's far away from the wall, so you can place this up here. Yeah, I would just say place it more to the back. Size this a lesser. De-increase the tile here, so it would be lesser repetitive. I do like the whole color balance, the blue and the purple or pinkish. I mean, and the orange is a very nice color choice. This model of this gun is also pretty impressive. It really gives a plasticky look with plastic. Yeah, I like this. So nice job with that, Platyros. It is also for me a little bit challenging to judge this kind of products. The third entry is of Eggman9. He says in Discord, here is my useless invention. It's a pencil scope or a pen scope. It's meant to be attached to a pencil. The neck of the magnifying glass is flexible, so you can just adjust it to your liking. The competition is useless invention, and unfortunately, I found use to this. I guess someone is into making tiny little art with great detail. This product is for you. Maybe drawing or writing on a grain or rice. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I have been looking at this one too. You know, just give it my thoughts for a little bit, and this can actually be a useful product. On the end of this competition, I have to say something about, you know, different kind of inventions, naming, and this one is really like, you know, still useful. I mean, it won't be used by millions of people, but it could be used, like you said, like tiny little artwork, or you know, those hipster artists writing a strip comic onto a grain or rice bit. I like the color balance in here. I like the model of this. You can really put it onto pencil. There's a nice shape in here. I like the flexible thing. I like that. Yeah, I actually like this. It's actually, it could be a useful product. It could actually sell. Anything else? I have to say, not yet really. I like what you've done here, and thank you also for joining the Eggman9. And the fourth entry is of I haven't seen you for a little while, and you were actually saying in Discord, nice to be back. Yeah, I'm glad you are back. In this case, you have certainly made a useless invention. It is something totally new, and it is something, I would say, quite useless. For 90%, I mean, this product could work. Only it would take several months in order to, you know, dig a little bit of sand away. And it's very dangerous. I mean, we go with a few hundred miles into a mountain of sand to just get a good bite of it. You probably die. Backing up with this thing with a lot of sand in it is going to take a very, very much energy. Doing that the whole day long. It's certainly going to make you tired. Yeah, like I said, I really do like this one. I also just like that you have like a few different versions of it to just show you how it works as an excavator. I like that you made a little man on here to just give the idea of the scale of this thing. Probably he will have a little bit of trouble putting his foot onto the ground. Useless? Yeah, 90%, 95, something like that. You even made like a tiny little lamp on it. Shining rims. Yeah. It's, I would almost say it's like a kid toy. You can make it into a kid toy, and kids will just use this in their spare time, playing with sand. Maybe you should try to print this out in a 3D printer and sell this onto the market. Yeah, I'm glad you're back. Thanks for joining. At this moment, with these 4 entries, I just want to say I think it's more difficult to come up with a useless idea than actually make a photorealistic art, because a lot of people seem to feel more confident about, you know, joining the realistic art competition rather than joining a competition where you have to think of useless project. Now, before I was saying like different naming, which I mean, this is really a useless project. I really feel like 95%, this is useless. It is a refreshing idea. It's not going to work. I mean, I wouldn't want to, use this. The Eggman, his products could actually be useful. I mean, maybe you should give it a shot onto the market. Maybe it's already there. I don't know. But I really like the idea. Yeah, stuff like that. Platypus, his idea is more of, crazy invention. I wouldn't say like completely useless. I wouldn't say useful. It's more of like this crazy stuff. It's like drinking a shot glass and then on the bottom there's like a half nude woman on it, or I know what kind of store you can actually find this kind of stuff. It's very dangerous though. Even though you don't use any gunpowder, you can just choke on these things. For TCTCQ, it's a little bit more difficult to come up with, because there's not really a story with it. I mean, yes, it is totally useless because you can't use it. You won't lose the ball, it makes it useful. Crazy idea? Absolutely not. So I actually have to come up with a first, second, and third place winner. That means that one of the four, have bad luck for today, I would say. Alright, I have been thinking for a little while. I've been thinking very deep about how do I need to choose and why I need to choose. And first, I'm just going to say that there is one person that, won't be on first, second, or third place. It's actually going to be the Eggman. You don't win any place at all. Not because your artwork is bad, because it looks very nice. It's your idea. I don't think this idea is completely useless. I think you can actually use this idea. You can actually sell this as a product. You actually made something useful. And I think, once again, I think it's very, very difficult to think of something new. And then also it should be totally useless. But I still think you have done a very nice job. So I would say congratulations with a useful product. That is that. So there are 3 more people left. And I have chosen for the third place, also with a reason. And that is going to be Platypus. Now, like I said, this competition is purely about idea. It's not about the artwork. I mean, it looks very great. It has some nice colors and nice textures. Only the floor needs to be a little bit different. And the reason why I put him on the third place is because his product is useless, but not all the way through. It is more of just a crazy product. Like trendy people would use this, like these challenge people, like who eat dishwasher soap, or I don't know, like these crazy ass things they do on the day of the day. They would use a challenge like this, like shoot this up your throat or something. I wouldn't use it, but I think you can agree with me. This is not totally useless idea. It's also not very useful. It's just very crazy. And that's why I'm putting it on third place. Not because it looks bad, but because the idea is not too close as useless as the 2 other one. So Platypus, I would say congratulations to third place. Very difficult, this one. And I actually really like this idea of trying to, judge onto this based on the idea rather on the art. The second place winner, it just feels weird to do this at this moment, choosing winners based on the idea. I am going to say TCTCQ. The point is, it is very useless what you've done here. It's totally useless. It doesn't make any sense. Yes, you won't lose the ball, as in, move it to another place, but you can also not use it to play this game. It's not a good idea either. It's not a crazy idea. It's just totally useless. But it's not the best useless idea. Because that one is of my. I mean, it could be a very nice children toy. I mean, fun for them, but for real life use, this is totally, like, I would say at least 95% a bad idea, useless. Nobody's going to be crazy enough to use this for his work and dig up sand. Oh man, I can imagine the struggles with this. And it's a refreshing idea. So, like, TCTCQ has a useless invention, but this one, it's totally new. And that's why I think might just win, because it's just totally new idea. It is, I would say 95% at least useless. You could use it, but it's not totally, out of control that you cannot use it. Like this one you cannot use at all. It is certainly useless, but it's not a new invention. So let me just know down below in the comment section, what do you think? Who should have won? Who totally shouldn't have won? What is your critique based on the idea of the subject, useless invention? It was actually very refreshing for me to do it like this for once, instead of just always like, oh, it looks good, we need more light, lesser light, the model. Yeah, refreshing. So congratulations with the winning places, and I once again I really appreciate that you guys have joined. And the next challenge is going to be something that people have been saying into the chat. It's actually environmental scene, so we're gonna go back to judging the scenes with lights and that kind of stuff, textures. The deadline is at February 25, 2300 GMT time. I hope this is still correct, because at some point we're gonna get back to summertime, right? I don't know if this is winter or summer or whatever. Anyhow, you will get the idea. Just drop it in on 25 February before it hits 26. And yeah, I will see you guys next week. Make sure you subscribe to my channel for more Blender, and also questions and requests are welcome anytime.